Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly. I hope you're all well. And today we have got a big dilemma that we're going to be discussing. So without further ado, let's get started. Yes, West Ham Network. I hope you're having an amazing day, first of all. But today we are going to be carrying out the great goalkeeper debate, and I want your input. So give us your thoughts down below in that comment section. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. And of course, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. We've got loads of fun content coming, some very, very exciting interviews, if we haven't mentioned already, that are definitely worth a watch. So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. So we're going to start by setting the scene a little bit. So after a long period of time, Areola became our first choice goalkeeper under Moyes. This had been a thing that was being discussed for so long, with everyone saying Fabianski doesn't have a future ahead of him, given his age, given his ability. Areola's the guy that we need. But after a few mistakes, mainly letting goals in recently at his near post, Lopetegui has reversed this decision, putting Fabianski back between the sticks and Areola as second choice from the United game onwards. Now, the big question is, what is our long-term plan and where does this actually leave us? Because given Fabianski's age, we were thought to be investing in our future by switching over to Areola. And this felt like a move that we needed to make, because otherwise we were going to lose Areola and eventually we're going to lose Fabianski because of his age. But as a reminder, Fabianski is 39. He's going to turn 40 in April. Obviously, goalkeepers can play a lot longer than players out on the field. But the main thing is that he is getting too old to be able to play for a long time. And it's not necessarily a long-term strategy. So at the time, it was said that Areola wouldn't want to stay at West Ham unless he was getting game time. And obviously, we've got the other option, which is 18-year-old Finn Herrick, who is coming up through the ranks, and he is very highly rated as well. So we've got options there for a short-term goalkeeper in Fabianski, a less risky, sort of medium risk kind of one in Areola, and then a longer-term plan in Herrick. Now, putting Areola and Fabianski head-to-head this season, Areola has played 8 league games and conceded 14 goals in that time. Meanwhile, Fabianski has played in 7 games. He's got 3 clean sheets, but he's conceded 10 goals in those 7 games. So technically, Fabianski has conceded less goals per game on average. When you break it down and look at their individual attributes, a big frustration with Fabianski was his poor ball distribution and the way that he just slowed down the pace of the game. We didn't really pass out from the back quickly enough. We didn't pick up those long balls quickly enough. You'd see a lot of runs that we just weren't really capitalising on because he didn't get the ball out of that goal area quick enough. And it made it challenging to do a lot of things, including playing on the break. But he's always been a solid option. And I've been delighted with having Fabianski as a backup keeper. He feels like the perfect option because he's happy not getting the game time at the moment. Well, till recently. And he's talented. You know that you can rely on him enough. He'll stop some shots. He'll do what's needed. And we've been burnt over the years with goalkeepers, and having that as a backup feels very safe. Obviously, he's come in recently. He hasn't made many high-profile mistakes, but my argument is that there have definitely been errors. 100% they've been errors. He's been lucky quite a few times. And I think because of that, on those occasions, we've managed to get away with one. Whereas I think if goals had been conceded as a result, there might be a very different conversation happening at the moment. Excuse me, that's my phone just beeping. Everything's beeping. Baby monitors, phones. I've got a minion that says hello in case that was just out loud. That was my text home. Sorry. So yeah, against Man United, he came off his line and Dalot basically missed an absolute sitter where I was convinced that ball was going in. He was basically through on goal. It didn't go in, which makes it a lot easier to forgive. So that's kind of where we are with Fabianski. Now, taking a look at Areola, the whole argument for him, obviously he's got more longevity in his career, but his ball distribution was supposed to be a lot better. At the age of 31, he's still got a really long career ahead of him. Getting this game time means that he can really settle in and he can have more and more time. He's a lot faster in the way that he typically plays, and his shot stopping is decent, but those mistakes that he has had have made him fall out of favour with the head coach. Mainly letting goals in near post, struggling to be accurate with his ball distribution. They're the main challenges that he's had. So it feels like a big reverse to go back to Fabianski. So today's question that I've got for you is twofold. The first thing I want to know is, would you currently be starting Areola or Fabianski, and why? And the second question is, how would you approach the goalkeeper situation at West Ham in upcoming transfer windows? Would you be bringing in a new keeper? And if so, would you be selling Areola? These are the things I want you to say. So, comment section, let me know. My fear is that we are currently taking a rather short-sighted approach to how we're dealing with goalkeepers, because I'm not sure how many more seasons Fabianski will have in him, especially at the top of his game, not even just as a backup keeper. So pushing Areola to the side puts us back in the situation that we were in back a couple of seasons ago, where we said we're going to lose him because he's not going to just sit by and be a second choice goalkeeper. And obviously, having little faith in him probably isn't filling him with confidence he's got a good future at the club. So it may well mean that we end up looking for two keepers if we obviously lose Fabianski at some point, but also Areola wants to leave. So he's a decent keeper, and I'm sure some other clubs would be happy to snap him up. So it's a difficult one to deal with. But as we've seen in recent years, it's not easy to find a reliable keeper always. And we've been burnt. And it feels like with Areola and Fabianski, we have two options that they're not the world's best, but they're predictable enough that we can deal with that. So losing them will both be quite interesting. Obviously, we are more confident in our ability to recruit nowadays, so we might find it easier to replace them. But like I said, let me know your thoughts. Get involved down below in that comment section. And if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up so we know that you've enjoyed it. That is all from me for now. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting season, because if we stick with Fabianski, Areola is rightfully so probably going to be looking elsewhere to try and get game time, and it's going to have to become a priority in transfer windows. So we'll see what happens. But tune in at 5 p.m. I'm going to be running through your Hammers headlines for today. Have a great day, and until next time, come on you Irons. Irons.